I've bought laptops at yard sales before, and the litany is usually the same. There's no power supply, and the laptop battery is drained so you can't test it. And the seller usually says, "It works great." And when I get it home and power it up with a generic laptop charger, the operating system is borked. At least this puppy came with a sticky note disclaimer. No hard drive, needs power jack. It's a Lenovo ThinkPad T420S. With an Intel Core i5. Originally it came with Windows 7 and whatever a Lenovo Enhance's experience was. Probably some fancy program tweaks. And when they said it needs a hard drive, they meant it. And the power supply was toast. It was a replacement generic power supply. Fortunately, I didn't pay much for the laptop and the dead power supply. It's more than a little beat up. The badge is missing, the corners are chipped, and the center of the touchpad is almost completely worn away. That's okay. It's got that little red nub which will do in a pinch. Using a generic power supply, I was able to make it boot from a USB. I didn't get a good picture of it, but it did boot. The keyboard was completely unresponsive, so that needed to be replaced. So a new keyboard, a 240 gig SSD, and a drive carrier were ordered. Also shown is my iFixit kit. It's not a sponsor, I just recommend it. And I have my recently rescued Dell loaded up with the fine manual for the ThinkPad. Always look for and download the fine manuals when rescuing systems, especially tricky laptops. When working on any system, always disconnect it from power, and in this case, this means removing the laptop battery. To replace the keyboard, I followed the directions in the fine manual, and located and removed the screws from the back. The iFixit case makes a great place to put those little tiny screws that laptops have. I noticed 2 sticks of 2 GB memory, so we're not doing too badly here. Then I flipped the laptop over and was able to wiggle free the keyboard. I had to use a screwdriver to pry at it just a little. Working on laptops can be nerve-wracking because things are so small and little plastic parts can break too easily. Like this tricky little keyboard connector. It's hard to know how much force it will take to release it. With a little gentle prying, the new keyboard went in. The screws were put back in, and hopefully we're all set. And now the laptop turns on and boots cleanly. We can see that the processor is an i5 2540M, clocking at 2.6 GHz. This is a 2-core, 4-thread CPU. Nothing to write home about. It also sees all 4 gigs of memory. It might be able to take up to 8 gigs of memory, but laptop memory is stupid expensive. 4 gigs will be sufficient for the time being. Things are good. But the drive caddy doesn't fit. Strange. Were there different models of the T420? Maybe I just ordered the wrong part. I just dropped the SSD right into the slot, and it fits fine without a drive caddy. With the SSD installed, we boot with the USB with Linux Mint installed. Minty fresh. One thing I should have done before starting the install was changing the screen resolution. Usually this isn't a problem with full-size systems, but occasionally laptops have truncated displays. I couldn't see all of the options when starting the install, and that was frustrating. But after a bit of waiting, it installed without any major issues. How is it? Well, it's a little pokey, and the battery life isn't the greatest. But we have one more system saved from the dump. How cool is that? Thanks for watching. If you liked my video, leave a like, comment, or subscribe. I'm a tiny channel with no Patreon or sponsors, so any response really makes my day. Rescue old systems, download those fine manuals, and as always, stay curious.